So today we are going to be on page 61 and we're talking about factoring, trinomial factoring. Okay, it's called trinomial factoring because we've got 1, 2, 3 terms, okay? Now what makes things different today is that you'll see an ax squared plus a bx plus a c. What makes it different today is you're going to end up with what we call a leading coefficient. Okay, we got a leading coefficient, right? So we have a number in front of x squared, which makes it different. Okay, sometimes these are easy to do, and sometimes they're a little bit hard. But we're going to work at it, and then you're going to have to check. That's why kids don't like this kind of factors. You have to check it. Okay. So let's go to number 1. So if I take a look at number 1, before you do anything, if you can common factor, always do it. So can you, okay, common factor. Because if you can common factor out that 2, then you don't have to do this double smiley. So 2 does divide into all 3 terms. So if I common factor out a 2 first, then what I'll wind up with is a c squared minus a 7c minus a 18. Okay, how am I doing? Now it becomes one of the problems that we've been doing. Okay, there's no number in front of the c squared, so we'll go 2 because we already took the 2 out. So write the 2 down again. I already took the 2 out, so write it down again. We're not going to bother with the 2 for a while, and now I'm going to go parentheses, 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 parentheses. Okay. All right, now, if I take a look at this, I know the only way I can get a c squared is c times c. It's the only way I can get a c squared, right? And I'm going to look at the 18. It's not a 36 anymore, it's an 18. It's not a 36, it's an 18. Well, what times what makes 18? 6 and 3 is great, but better is 9 and 2, because a 9 and a 2 can make a 7 if we have a negative 9 and a positive 2. Okay? Now you could still do the double smiley. You could check your middle term, but it should work, right? Negative 9c, positive 2c will make a negative 7c. So with the 2, don't forget the 2, that's my factored answer. Okay? All right? Am I doing okay? Yeah. Let's slide over to 3. I'm trying to go slowly enough. So again, can you common factor?
Yes.
Yeah, so let's common factor first, okay? So it's common factor, and I'm going to common factor out a 3. So if I common factor out the 3, I'll have a x squared minus a 2x minus 8. So once I take the 3 out, it's out. So I'm going to leave the 3 out in front. And now I'm going to factor what's inside again. Parentheses, 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 right? The only way I'm going to make an x squared, well, that's easy. X times x, right? It's got to be x times x, right? You see, okay. Now, what times what? That's a negative. It's a negative. So you know the answer's got to be a positive negative, right? So what times what makes a negative 8? 2 and 4, but let's use a negative 4 and a positive 2 because they'll together make the negative 2 middle term. Does that make sense? If I went the other way, 4 and negative 2, I wouldn't make a negative 2. And again, you can check your little double smiley to see if it works, and it does. You get the middle term, okay? Okay, how am I doing? Okay, now let's go down to, let's see, how about number, I don't want to do a super hard one. Let's go down to number 9. Let's go to 9, okay? Let's go to 9. Okay, now, can you common factor? No. So we're going to have to try some things, okay? So I'm going to go parentheses, 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 parentheses. Now, I've been using my pen, but I'm going to go to my pencil now because if I don't have the right combination, I can erase and try it again, right? Well, with a 9w squared, there's really two ways. 9 times 1 or 3 and 3. Let's try 3 and 3 first, okay? And if I'm wrong, I can change it to 9 and 1, right? I know the middle term's not super big. If it was super big, I might try 9, but I'm going to try 3w and a 3w, okay? And if I'm wrong, I can go back and erase and try another combination, okay? What about the multiples of 2? It's 1 and 2, okay? So then I'm going to put 1 and 2. Now what I need to do is make a middle term of 9, right? So I'm going to check my double smiley, okay? Check my double smiley. That's going to give me a 6w. That's going to give me a 1w, or I'm sorry, 3w, and they do make a 9, right? Now I need a positive 9, so I'm going to go along with 3w plus 1, 3w plus 2, okay? How's that?
Nice.
Let's try number 10, okay? Am I okay? Am I going too fast? Okay, slide over 10. Let's try 10. Now, can you common factor? No. So I'm going to just parentheses, 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 parentheses. Now, again, I'm going to use my pencil because I might need to erase. So 12. There's lots of ways to make 12. I can do 12 and 1. I can do 2 and 6 and 3 and 4, right?
Let's do 3.
I think 3 and 4. 3 and 4 seems like the best choice. And if we're wrong, we erase and we try it again. So let's try 3a and a 4a, okay? Now what about the negative 2?
He's disrespecting me.
Who is? Okay, I got to teach, okay? So what about negative 2? What are the multiples of negative 2?
1 and 2.
Okay, how about, so we got
1
1
and negative
1 and negative 2. Okay, so 1 and negative 2 I heard, okay? Let's check it. Let's see if this works. Now I need to make a middle term of 5, right? So I'm going to check my double smiley. Okay. So with my double smiley, I'm going to get a positive 4a and a negative 6a, okay? Doesn't work, right? So we have one choice. First choice I'm going to do is switch, because I like what Andy said. I'm going to switch these two, okay? It's my first choice. I'm going to switch these two. So it didn't work. I'm going to switch these two and make it a negative 2 and a positive 1, okay? All right, I'm going to switch it around. Didn't work, did it? So I switch it around. I'm just trying another combination, okay? So now let's see if it works. I'm going to get a negative 8a and a positive 3a. Now I'm close. That doesn't make a positive 5, but this is really easy to fix.
Do a 2 and a 1.
So if I change that to a positive 2 and that to a negative 1, I think it'll work. What do you think? I think that'll work. So if I change that to a positive 2 and to a negative 1, let's see what we're going to get. So 3a plus 2, 4a minus 1. We'll check our double smiley. This time I'll get a positive 8a, and I'll get a negative 3a, and I sure enough make my middle term of a positive 5. Okay? All right, thumbs up. Okay. Let's try one more. Let's do number 12. Okay, slide over to 12. Okay. All right. So again, we're going to go parentheses, 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 parentheses. Okay. All right. There's only one way to make a 5. 5 and 1, right? So for sure I can put in ink. I'm going to ink this in 5t and t. That for sure is going to happen. There's no other combination that I'm going to use, okay? Now negative 9 plus 3 minus 3, what do you think? Let's try, okay? Plus 3 minus 3. Okay, let's check our double smiley. I need to make a positive 12. I'm going to have a 3t. And I'm going to have a negative 15t. Now it's almost, but what I made was a negative. This is going to make a negative 12, not a positive 12. But that's really easy to fix, isn't it? Change the signs, right? So I'm going to change this one to the negative and this one to the positive. And let's check that, okay? Now I'll have a positive 15t and a negative 3t, which will make my positive 12t. So it's just a matter of checking your work and seeing if the double smiley works. So 5t minus 3 times t plus 3 will give us a middle term of 12t, okay? So far so good, okay? Turn the page, okay? Turn the page. Okay. Now, all right, let's take a look at 13, all right? Now for me, I do not like a negative in front. I don't like a negative at all. So for me, it makes it hard to factor. So what I'm going to do, here's what I like to do. I like to take and make, I like a positive number here, okay? Really do. So I take out a -1, and it will change the entire problem. It will. So if I take out a -1, I'm going to have a positive 12b squared minus 5b minus 2. Now it makes it easier for me to factor with a positive number here. Always has been. So if I take out a -1, it's going to make it easier. So then I'm going to go -1 times, okay? All right, now, well, what times what makes 12? What do you think? We've got 4 and 3, we've got 2 and 6, we've got 1 and 12. What do you think we should probably try?
3 and 4.
Probably 3 and 4. I agree. But I'm going to put it in pencil in case I have to change, okay? I'm going to go 3b and a 4b, okay? 2 is pretty easy, just 2 and 1, right? So let's see, I'll go 2 and 1. All right, now let's check it with our double smiley, right? I'm going to get an 8 and a 3b. Now I didn't put the signs in, did I? I didn't do it on purpose because looking at this, I'm pretty sure I need the negative there and the positive there. Because if the negative goes there, you make the -8, right? So I'm pretty sure I want to go the negative there and the positive there. Makes the negative and positive, and that is gonna work, okay?
1.
So I'm gonna have a 3b minus 2, 4b plus 1, and I think that's gonna make my -5 middle term, okay? All right, how am I doing?
Bueno.
Bueno? Yes. Yeah. No, great question. Isabella asked a really good question because another way to have factored this, Isabella, it also could have been, you ready? I'll put it up here. I'll put it way up here. Hold on, let me get my camera so you can see this, okay? You could have factored this as a -3b plus 2 times a 4b plus 1, okay? I could have left the negative in there, okay? Totally correct. You know, I didn't program the computer and the answers, and it could be they don't even want this answer. They may want this answer here, but if you do, you can always bring the negative back in. See how I did that? So we'll find out, okay? All right, thumbs up? All right. There is one problem, one story problem on there about, you know, something being a falling object and finding the zeros, but that's a great problem for you to look at, okay? So, stop this.